Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Ayana Graphic Zanumala and I am a level 1 student at Hans Islamabad campus. So today we have a very special guest with us. It is truly an honor to speak with you, Mr. Paul Bowen. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, sir, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Paul Bowen, and I am being interviewed here. I live in the United States of America. I live in the city of Denver in the state of Colorado. I was
Okay.
born in 1944, which makes me 81 years not old now. I am married with two children and two grandchildren. I have been a teacher for a long time. I got a Ph.D. in philosophy from Yale University, and I have taught at Brown University and the University of Cincinnati, and also in the Schilling School for Gifted Children, which is a kindergarten through high school school, not a university. That's my introduction.
Okay, nice introduction, sir. So looking back at your life, what are you most proud of?
Well, I don't know. In a way, I'm proud to have made it to 81. I hope to make it to 82. Uh, I was proud of my dissertation. I still am proud of my dissertation at Yale, which was about logic, and worked on a very difficult and important problem in logic, and I think I had some success in dealing with it. I am, of course, proud of my children and grandchildren. And I have done some other things besides teach. I have made art and I play the piano. And I don't know how good I am at those things, but I managed to get by. So I guess I'm kind of proud of those things as well. That's my answer.
Okay, nice. So what inspired you to choose philosophy as your life work?
Well, that's the when I went to college. I went to college at Amherst College, uh, and I took a philosophy course. I didn't really know what it was, what philosophy was. I maybe had it a little confused with psychology, but I took the course. I needed to take another course. So I took philosophy, and I just thought, well, I'll see what this is. And one day the teacher was talking about this thing, which is called a truth table. And I don't think I have time to explain to you exactly what a truth table is, but it has something to do with logic. And as soon as I understood what this truth table was, I was inspired, and I felt that I understood what logic was all about, and I liked this way of doing it using a truth table, and I kind of had a glimpse of all the other things that could be done with it, with logic, and it was very inspiring for me. And so at that point, I decided that the philosophy was what I would do. I was very enthusiastic about it. None of my other courses had given me the same feeling as that. So I became a philosophy major and eventually got a degree, as you know, at at Yale. That's my answer.
Okay, nice, Pankaj. So my next question to you is, what is the most important lesson life has taught you?
So, so Okay, what gives my life meaning? Well, that's a very interesting question. It's a very philosophical question. Uh, I think what gives my life meaning is that certain things are important to me, and what things are important kind of changes as I grow older. And when I was younger, I was interested in logic, as I said, but as I've grown older, I'm not against logic, but I've become more interested in social and political questions. And I didn't mention it, but I have a Facebook page just under my name, Paul Bowen. And there we discuss these sorts of questions. Uh, since I'm not retired, I don't teach classes or anything, so I do this thing on Facebook instead. But I think it's these important questions and working on these important questions that give my life the most meaning. No, that's my answer.
Okay, sir, nice answer. So, sir, my next question to you is, do you believe every person has a purpose in life?
Well, I think that this is something that develops as you grow older. When you're younger, you might think your purpose in life is one thing, and as you get older, you change your mind and you have, and I'd like to think you gain insight. You have a better idea of what your purpose in life might be. Now, people are unique. Everybody is different. And so I think that if you had your purpose in life figured out, it would probably be different from everybody else's. Uh, but in general, I think your purpose in life is to make the world a better place than it would otherwise have been. So that's my answer.
Okay, nice. So, sir, my next question to you is, what is the most important lesson life has taught you? And what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I don't know if there's any one idea, but I guess the most important idea is the idea of ethics, that there are certain things we ought to do. You know, you can describe what people actually do, but there's also the question of what they ought to do, what it's right to do. And of course, people don't always do that. And sometimes it's not clear what that is. But just the idea that there is more to life than just whatever happens. But instead that there are some things that happen that would be better. Uh, I mainly got that idea through philosophy, although everybody has this idea to some extent, or almost everybody to some extent. But I think philosophy clarified this idea for me. So, and that had a big influence on my life. That's my answer.
Okay, sir, nice. So, sir, my next question to you is, how can students stay focused in a distract world?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think one very important thing is not to be addicted to the internet. And some people spend all the time on the internet and they're scrolling at this and scrolling at that, and it's actually they're kind of wasting their time. And I think you should be careful not to spend too much time on the internet, but spend some time just thinking for yourself or reading from a book. Uh, the internet is a wonderful thing, but it can also be addictive and it can also be very shallow. I mean, a lot of what is on the internet is junk or lies, and so to you must learn to distinguish the good and the bad. on the internet, and be careful not to uh, get trapped in the silliness. A lot of the internet is just silliness, and it's necessary not to be trapped in that stuff. Now, what you're doing right now is very serious. I approve of it. It's not silly, but sometimes people get onto YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and they're just wasting their time. It's it's trash. Uh, so it's necessary to be careful to distinguish what is trash and what is really valuable on the internet. That's my answer.
Okay, sir. So, sir, my next question to you is, what does true success mean to you?
Well, I think the most important lesson life uh, that life has taught me is that I have a lot to learn. Uh, when I was young, I thought I knew all the answers to all the important questions, but then as I grew older, I realized that I did not. And now at 81 years old, I think that I have learned something, but I don't know all the answers to all the interesting questions. So, in other words, life has taught me humility. It's taught me not to have too high an opinion of myself, and that's my answer.
Okay, sir, nice answer. So, sir, my next question to you is, how was your experience teaching at different universities and different schools?
Well, in a way, I answered that to the last question. What I would what I would suggest to my younger self is that um, you don't know as much as you think you know, and you should spend less time giving advice to people and more time trying to learn things yourself and listening to other people. Other people often have very important things to tell you, but you have to listen to them. Even when they're talking about themselves, still you can find great wisdom in what they say. They don't have to be talking about you. So that's my answer to that.
Okay, sir. So, sir, my next question to you is, what makes a good teacher in your opinion, and how do you help students think critically?
Hmm. Well, I've certainly made mistakes, lots of mistakes. I'm not sure there's any particular one big mistake that I made. Um, but yeah, I guess I'd say I just made a whole lot of little mistakes, or uh, perhaps there are times when I had a job teaching at Brown University, and but I didn't. I didn't get to keep the job, so I had to go somewhere else. And I think if I had behaved differently, I would have kept that job, and I guess that would have been a good thing. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to know whether something is good for you until you actually experience it. So it might be that in the end, it was better that I didn't keep that job. It's not that my life since then have been miserable. So it's in that sense, it's sometimes hard to know whether something is a mistake or not because you can't go back and try the other one. And if you can't go back and try the other one, how do you know that the one you tried is the wrong one? And so that makes it difficult to find a particular mistake. So that's my answer.
Okay, sir. So, my next question to you is, what is your one thing that students should always remember?
Well, I think that dealing with failure can be very difficult. But I think one way to deal with failure is to understand that you can learn from it. Okay? And in a way, the worse the failure is, the more you can learn from it. Because you can ask yourself, well, why did I fail in this? The other thing is to be careful about judging that you have failed. I mean, let's suppose you try to do something and you in a way you fail. But maybe it wasn't as important as you thought it was. Okay, like suppose you try to throw a ball through a hoop and you fail, it doesn't go through the hoop. But normally you would say, well, that's no big deal. It's not really important to me whether the ball goes through the hoop. I was just having fun. And so that doesn't bother you. If something bothers you, you can ask yourself, am I really right to be so bothered by this? Because every time you miss one opportunity, you get other opportunities that you wouldn't have had. So I think the best thing is just to go ahead and don't let the past bother you. Okay, you can't change the past. All you can do is learn from it. So just try to learn from the past, but don't torment yourself with, oh, I failed. You know, this is this is a mistake. And you should always remember that when you fail to do something, but you don't fail to be something. You are a human being, and essentially there's nothing wrong with you. And if you fail, when you say I failed, you failed at this particular thing. You didn't throw the ball through the hoop, or you didn't keep the job, or whatever. But as a human being, you are always a success because you are human. You are the person you are. And so it's not you that fails, it's the particular action that you attempted, the particular thing you attempted to do. So that's my answer.
Okay, sir. So, what do you think philosophy is still important in today's fast-moving world?
Uh, well, I think I'd go back to something I said before, and that is that you should always try to act in such a way as to make the world a better place than it would otherwise have been. And sometimes this will be difficult, but you shouldn't be upset because you can't solve the big problems of the world by yourself. If you just smile at somebody, make them feel a little bit better, then you have made the world a better place. And uh, you may not be able to end war or cure all the diseases or anything like that, but if you have made one person a little happier, then that's a good thing. And you should be proud of what you did. So take the opportunities that you actually have and try to make the world a better place. Use those opportunities to make the world a better place. And it's a very strange place because of the internet and all the amazing technology that's happening. And that may be overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to learn everything about it. You don't have to master everything about it. As I was saying before, you could turn off the internet from time to time and just sit and think or read or do something with that. It's easy for young people to get addicted to the internet these days, I think, and that's a bad thing. So that's my answer.
Okay, sir. Nice answer. So, sir, my next question to you is, during your PhD, what were the biggest challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
Well, it's often very hard to stay focused because all these things are competing for your attention. Okay, advertisements and things like that, and especially on the internet, there's constantly pop-ups pop up, and you get little messages and so on. It's very hard to stay focused. Um, One thing you can do is there's a kind of meditation that strengthens your ability to stay focused. So if you just think of one word, let's say the word one, or in your whatever it is in your language, it doesn't have to be an English word. Uh, okay. Or you count to 10. Let's say you count to 10. So you say one, and you focus to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. So you say one, and you try to focus on that as strongly as you can. And then you say two. And again, you completely focus on the number two. And you do that till you get 10, and then you start over. And you can set an alarm so that you'll stop after a certain amount of time. But this gives your brain practice in focusing on something just because you want to focus on it. It's not particularly exciting to focus on the number two, right? But you can decide to focus on it and focus on it. And so in this way, you develop your ability to choose for yourself what you're going to focus on instead of letting all the shiny and attractive things on the internet or elsewhere in life distract you and make you change your focus on this, change focus on that. Then you're just drifting. Okay. The important thing is to develop the strength so that you decide what you're going to focus on. And focusing on numbers, as I described, is very good because there's nothing flashy or attractive about the numbers. It's just that you have decided that this is what you're focusing on, not because it has attracted you. So that would be my answer to that.
Okay, sir, nice answer. So, my next question to you is, over the years, what has been the most important lesson life has taught you?
Well, part of the problem there is how you measure success. Do you measure success by being rich? Or powerful, I think that would be a mistake. I will once again go back to the idea that you try to make the world a better place. And if you succeed in making the world a better place, then that is the important kind of success. But I will go even further and say, if you make an honest effort to make the world a better place, then you're a success. Okay? If you're And again, this brings us back to focus. If you focus on making the world a better place and you try and you do your best, well, you may fail. Some other country may decide to declare war on your country and they bomb everything, and your life is totally ruined, right? But that's not your fault. That's not your fault. So if you have made an honest effort to use your abilities to make the world a better place, then I consider you to be a success. And you can't be any more successful than that. Uh, so it's really completely up to you. If you just make this decision and stick to it, then you're a success. Well, that's my answer.
Okay, sir, nice. So, sir, what final message or advice would you like to share with people around the world?
Well, I think you should avoid a lot of what I've said is already there. I mean, you should avoid being addicted to things, including the internet. And uh, you, you should avoid also addictions to substances like alcohol or other substances that are addictive, you should not get started. With things that are addictive, it's best just not even to start because then you're hooked, as we say. It's very difficult to stop. So I would say you should avoid addictions, including addictive substances. Caffeine. See, some of these substances are fairly harmless. Caffeine, if you want to drink coffee, it's not going to ruin your life. But other alcohol can ruin your life. It depends on the person. Some people are more, alcohol has a stronger effect on them. And I had a friend who was like that. He was an alcoholic and it ruined his life. So he should have never started. And he eventually quit. When he was already 60 years old or something like that, he finally quit. And after that, his life improved. So I would say you should avoid anything that's addictive. And I guess that's the main thing. Don't take too many risks. I mean, courage is a good thing. And I think especially young men sometimes feel they have to prove themselves by doing risky things. But that proves they have courage. But I don't think you should do something dangerous just to prove that you're courageous. The times will come in life when you will need to be courageous. These times will come, they will be hard. But you don't need to manufacture kinds like this. You don't need to manufacture risks. Uh, don't worry, life will present you with plenty of risks without you having to go looking for them. So I would say avoid risks, and that's my answer.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your very valuable thought with us today. So thank you so much again joining for us. So viewers, this was our today guest. I hope you like it this interview. Uh, so love it and thank you.